Thank you. And now I would like to welcome Dr. Mohamed Salem to talk about information literacy.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and welcome to everybody who's joining us today. I have two topics to share with you today regarding information literacy and the COVID-19. The first one is related to how we read the charts, such as the two charts that you see right in front of you. For example, these two charts may seem to tell the stories of two different places. Well, in fact, both of them tell the history of patients of COVID-19 in California. It's just two different representations of the same thing. The chart on the left, this shows the total number of cases on daily basis, represented on what's called the linear scale. And by linear scale means look at the vertical axis on the very far left side. Perhaps it's not very clear, but you can see each tick mark represents an increase of 100,000 cases. So every time the curve increases by one tick mark on the vertical axis, we are adding 100,000 cases to the total number of the confirmed COVID-19 infected people. The curve on the right-hand side, it tells the number of daily infections, not the total number, but the number of daily infections. And it uses a different type of representation. This is called the log scale, a logarithmic scale. And a logarithmic scale may not be very intuitive as the linear scale, like the one that we see on the left, because log scale tells us more about the trend. So if you look at the first section on the curve on the right-hand side, up to April 1st, we see a sharp increase, a sharp upward trend. This is not very visible on the chart on the left. On the chart on the left, you see up to April 1st, you see almost a flat line. But the chart on the right tells us that the daily number of confirmed infections increases rapidly. On the other hand, if you look, for example, to the period between July 1st and August 1st on the chart on the right-hand side, then you see a flat curve, while the same period on the left chart, you can see a total increase in the total number of cases. So the log curve, the one on the right, is better suited to represent trends, while the one on the left, the linear scale, this is better suited to show the total number of cases. And there has been, if you feel confused about the different representations, you are definitely not alone, because we are mostly comfortable with using the linear scale, not the log scale. However, we think it's important to also introduce the log scale, because these are pretty much the most common type of charts that you will see when you look at COVID-19 charts. For example, we hear about flattening the curve. And if you look to the curve on the right, the log scale, you can see the curve after July 1st is flat. However, this does not mean that we have flattened the curve. The flattening the curve would appear on the chart on the left. When the graph on the left starts to plateau and become flat, then this is the flattened curve. Next slide, please. The other topic is the relationship between COVID-19 and 5G. And there has been news, particularly from the UK and Canada, that some people believe there's a strong relationship between 5G, the new technology for cell phones, and the spread of COVID-19. And unfortunately, those beliefs led to certain cases of vandalism or even arson in some cases. So to understand this, perhaps we can take a step back and try to understand what's 5G. 5G is a new technology for cell phones And the difference between 5G and what we have right now is with 5G, we can deliver much more data. The nature of the electromagnetic radiation that's used is not much different from the current technology. On the right side, you can see a chart that represents different electromagnetic radiation, and radio and cell phone lay in the green zone. The green zone means it's non-ionizing radiation. So this radiation cannot cause any damage to your cells or to your DNA in a straightforward fashion. Unlike ionizing radiation, the one that you see on the far right side, like ultraviolet, X-ray, gamma rays, these are all ionizing radiation and can cause a lot of damage. So what is the source of this confusion between 5G and COVID-19? Probably since COVID-19 is not well understood as well as 5G, and it seems like wherever there's an area with implemented 5G, you see a surge in COVID-19, people may make a connection between the two of the cases of correlation, not causation. Where there's an overlap between 5G and COVID-19, the reason is both area, the same area has a lot of population. And that's the main reason why we have 5G and also we have COVID-19 widespread. And I think with this, I thank you again so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Salem, for sharing this information.